Shatheed and I walk like this. I'm Shatheed and I talk like this.
This is what you came up with.
I'm Shatheed and I can only count to 6.
What the heck come after 6?
Hey guys, welcome to episode 32 of the Breakroom Nachos podcast.
So I tasked you with coming up with a podcast intro. And the first thing you thought of was Shatheed?
I don't know, man. We haven't talked about that in a long time, and we used to laugh about that.
It's a great fucking meme, but damn, really hit me out of left field with that one.
Well, good. Good. I'm glad. Oh, man. Well, at least I had something to open with today, right?
I suppose.
All right. Fair enough. I'll see what I can do for next week.
Oh, man. Good old Shatheed.
Yeah, that girl.
What's she up to?
I don't know. What if there's like a where are they now Shatheed?
Yeah, man. Shatheed, call us up, girl. Come on our podcast.
Hell yeah. Maybe we can tag her.
We can teach you how to count to 6 or how to count past 6.
Yeah.
But not far. We don't know much further than that ourselves.
No. I'm only guessing this is 32. I don't really understand how numbers work.
Yeah, I kind of just, I put it through like an automatic counting machine every time I upload an episode just to make sure I'm on the right number.
Nice.
How the fuck am I supposed to know?
Oh, man. What's going on with you?
Not much. Pretty docile week. On Saturday, we talked about in an earlier podcast, I hadn't had a steak in a really long time and I'd never cooked one.
Okay.
So on Saturday, I was just like, I want a steak. And I went to Kroger and I picked up a steak and made it.
Nice. How'd you cook it?
I pan fried it. Some olive oil.
Okay.
Put some salt and pepper,
Nice.
Cayenne pepper, paprika,
Nice.
onion powder, garlic powder.
Oh, nice.
Oregano.
Oh, look at you. You got all fancy with it.
Yep. Basted it with butter. as it
Hell yeah.
cooked.
Oh, yeah. Butter on a steak is like fantastic.
Dude, for the first time that I'd ever made a steak before, that was one of the best steaks I've ever had.
Hell yeah.
It turned out perfect. It was fucking delicious.
Nice. Was it a ribeye?
It was T-bone.
Okay. I couldn't really tell because I couldn't see like the entire steak in the pictures that you posted.
Right. But no, it was incredible. You know, I cleaned off the fat that was on the outside, but there was a pretty big chunk of fat in the middle. And so I just kind of left that there. But when I got to it while eating, it literally like it peeled off to the point that like I cut off a chunk that had fat on it. And then the fat that was on it just peeled off. So it was like this tiny sliver of meat left. Like that was how much it peeled right off.
Nice.
Perfect.
Usually that middle fat is freaking delicious though. I'm not going to lie.
I just don't like the texture of fat.
It depends on what kind it is, honestly. Like sometimes like the fat inside of a ribeye is freaking amazing, but like the fat on the outside of like a New York strip, not so great. It just kind of depends on what it is. Some of it gets real soft. It's literally almost like butter sometimes, and that's really freaking good.
Well, maybe I'll try it sometime again. I don't know.
Well, good. I'm glad you ventured out into the world of steak.
It was great. I'm like trying to convince myself not to buy another steak because I can't afford it. Just because it was so fucking good. I want another one.
Nice.
But can't have steak every day. That's terribly unhealthy.
Yeah. It's definitely not the healthiest thing in the world, but you know, it could be. It's probably better than eating like cake for dinner every day.
I don't know. Sometimes you can build your body to that point.
Yeah, you would be team cake. There was
this time, my coworker Megan and I each got cake for lunch. There was, we were starting to sell this new sliced cake. It was an apple cookie butter cake. This thing was incredible. It was, a layered cake, yellow cake, with in the middle, the filling was, this caramel apple filling, with like chunks of cookie. Oh, and then the topping was like an apple frosting, and it was fucking incredible. It was such a good cake. And when we first started selling them, the cake decorators were mistakenly making the slices too large.
Okay.
So it was like a $4 slice of cake, and it was literally a pound of cake.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so like when we caught on to that, we were like, okay, we got to start slicing these smaller. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to pick one of these up before they start slicing them smaller.
Right.
And my friend Megan had the same day. So on the same idea. So on the same day, we both got this pound of sliced cake. Both had it for lunch. And then like a couple hours later, she was like complaining about how her stomach hurt from eating all that cake. And she like looked at me and she was like, how are you fine? And my boss Danny goes, he's trained for this. He eats cake like every other day. You were wrong to think you could do the same things as him.
Right. You're like, what's that guy? Joey Chestnut, the guy that's like the hot dog eating champ.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was like my body's been built up to that point. I'm ready to eat a pound of cake in one sitting. You are not, Megan. That's why you're suffering.
Oh, hell yeah. Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Speaking of cake, that reminds me of a story that I've been wanting to bring up for probably like 4 months now. Remember the night that we did the overnight at World Market? When the guys came in and replaced all of our lights.
Yeah. So this overnight was a real bonding moment for Mike and I.
Yeah.
Because these guys who came to work on our lights, these guys.
Oh yeah, these guys.
These nuts. These guys were fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah, to say that's putting it mildly, but I don't really know how else to describe them.
They were just like, you have to hear the stories about them. That's what we're here to do.
Exactly. Really. So, you know, we get a crew. I don't know. It's maybe like 5 or 6 guys, something like that.
It wasn't a ton of guys.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a lot. Maybe it was 4, whatever. It doesn't matter. Well, we're walking around with the guy that's in charge, and we're kind of like showing him where all the lights are, everything that he needs to work on.
Yeah, because they're replacing all of the lights. Like there's the ones over like the middle of the store. There's all the ones in the stock room and our like rug rooms and our office and our like everything. So we had to point out where every light was.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So we're walking around and, you know, we're telling him like, hey, you know, like this is above, you know, like some fixtures. It might be kind of hard to get to, or like.
And especially like the rug room one, like we went into the rug room and we talked about before, the rug room was like a nightmare to get through. The way we had it set up, there was like 3 feet of space, which is rugs everywhere. You couldn't get a ladder in there. Yeah. Much less, you know, the scissor lift that they needed to fucking work their way into.
Right. Cause we had really high ceiling.
Right. So we were being like, hey, this is probably gonna be difficult, but this one has to be done too.
Yeah, and so his response the first time was, that piece of cake.
That's a piece of cake.
Piece of cake. Okay, fair enough. That's a phrase people say.
Yeah.
Well, then as we kept going around and showing him more areas that we thought would be difficult,
he kept saying it.
Only
progressively,
it got to the point where it would be like, yeah, this one might be difficult too, and he'd just say, oh, cake. Oh, that cake.
Like everywhere he went, cake.
Man, you know what? Like, you know, you're gonna have to get in this room. Like, there's a bunch of shit in here, and you got to get above, like, you know, maybe it's like above a fixture that we can't move. Oh, cake. That cake.
So that was immediately like, Mike and I are both just kind of looking at each other like, why he keeps saying cake. So then like these guys start getting to work. They have these pallets of lights that we brought in kind of in the middle store, and they start getting to work, and we're kind of nearby.
Yeah. And Mac, you might have to tell this part. I only remember like the punchline of it.
See, that's the thing. I don't know what the context was.
Oh, damn it. I was really hoping you would know this.
So like these guys start getting to work, and it was okay. I think I know vaguely what was going on.
Okay.
So like, you know, they're getting the lights off the pallets. They're like bending over, like grabbing the lights, and these guys are like straight plumber style. Like they've got their ass cracks hanging out.
Yeah. That sounds right.
And so one of the guys like makes a comment at another dude about like being able to see his ass, and it like brings up some situation between them where they're like, oh yeah, some guy was like looking at my ass. So there was a whole lot of brown in there.
So ridiculous.
We're standing like 5 feet away from these guys, and they have this weird inside joke or something about like just looking at all the shit caked around his asshole or something.
Yeah, it was really, it was odd. I'm sure there's a few other things, but the next part of the story that I remember is when they were like, I think it was when they were on lunch together.
Yep, they were taking a break, and we were also about to take a break, and we were kind of walking by, and they offered to have us join them, and we're sitting there like, these guys are fucking weird. Of course we're gonna join them.
Hell yeah, we are.
It's like in The Office. Like Jim always told me, if Dwight ever asks if you want to be in a secret alliance, you say, absolutely I do. Exactly. It was like that. Like, of course we're gonna eat lunch with these guys.
That's so funny that you brought up the forming an alliance. Because I was listening to the radio and they were talking about forming an alliance, and I thought about that joke like maybe like 3 hours ago. So that's pretty weird that got brought up again.
Damn.
So during this lunch that we're enjoying with these lovely gents,
odd lighting fellows.
Yeah, they start talking about another job that they went on. And I think that was like a multiple night job or something.
Yeah.
And so they had to like, kill time after they were done working for the day. And they told us they went to the strip club.
Not only that,
not only did they go, all right, fine, whatever.
Yeah, like just a bunch of boys going to the strip club, even if they're like there on a job, if they're in their off time, no big deal. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But if that's what they want to do, go for it.
Right. You want to go to the bar, go to the bar. You want to go to a restaurant, go to a restaurant. Strip club, cake. But they're talking about it and they're like, yeah, we just what do they say? We like expensed the strip club.
They maxed out like the corporate card or something. God. They had gotten permission from their supervisors, bosses, whatever, to use a corporate credit card at the strip club.
Yeah. I don't know what sort of people are running this company that we had hired, but
which of course World Market would hire a company like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The other thing I remember is I think this was maybe it was during lunch or maybe it was right before they were going to leave.
It was right before they were going to leave. They were like packing up.
And the one guy was like going around like pointing at everyone, telling us how much money they made.
Yeah, I don't remember what prompted this, but like the guy who kept saying cake, like the same guy who's like the supervisor of all these other guys. He started like talking about like how much money he makes and like referencing specific dollar amounts. And then he starts like pointing at all his guys and like saying how much they make. Like, oh, this guy's been around a while. He's making $25 an hour. This kid, he's new. He's kind of like an apprentice. He's only making $12 an hour, but it'll go up once he's been around a while. It's like completely unprompted. We did not ask him how much they made doing these jobs.
No,
not at all.
No, I don't know if he was trying to like impress us or if he was trying to recruit us or what the hell he was doing. But that whole night was just bizarre.
It was so weird, but those guys were awesome. And like they became like a running joke between us for years.
Yeah. Just saying cake and
there's a whole lot of brown in there.
There's a whole lot of brown in there. We said those phrases so many times over the years.
Oh yeah. But like fuck, those guys were so weird.
Yeah. It's funny. I thought about this, I said I thought about telling this story a while back and I'd written it down and in my notes it had been so long I actually forgot what it was that I wanted to talk about because all I wrote down was cake. And I was looking at it and I was like, cake, what the hell did I want to do? Oh, the lighting guys. Hell yeah, cake.
Yeah, well, there's certain stories from World Market that are like, they're so good that when I think of like a story to tell, they're like forefront in my mind. And like, that's one of them is just like that night with those guys because they were so weird.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like one of those things where like you look at what you've talked about during a podcast and you're like, we've already had a lot of good stuff in this. I got to save this one.
Right. Yeah. If we're like, 3/4 of the way through and we've been telling a lot of good stories, you gotta save a really good one for another episode.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh man.
Well, man, those guys were great.
Yeah. And you know, it was really only like, it was mostly like that main guy that was like super weird.
We really didn't interact with all the other guys that much, but they were.
No, but none of the other guys were at all like weirded out by how weird the main guy was being.
Oh no, well, like we had this conversation, I think, while they were there. Like we kind of talked about how it wouldn't be that bad of a job.
Right.
Because you know, they all work overnights. They like kind of come into a store, they just do all their work together and then they leave. Like they don't have anybody to really answer to during the job. They don't talk to customers. They work at night. They get paid pretty well. We were like talking about how like it'd probably be kind of interesting. And even better, like you're not even really doing the same stuff every day because you're in different stores every day. Like there's different challenges and stuff like that. It mixes things up.
Yeah.
But then we kind of had this thought like, but I really wouldn't mix in with these guys.
No. This is not my kind of crew.
This is not my crowd at all.
No. Oh gosh, no, not at all.
It's interesting to think about those jobs that are just that travel around to like different stores all the time. What are their lives like?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, like, what do they do in their off time? But apparently you just go to the strip club on the company dime.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, man.
You ever been to a strip club?
I have. I've been to a strip club 3 times in my life. I went once for my 18th birthday.
Okay.
Because that's...
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, kind of like a rite of passage kind of thing, you know? And then it was like the last weekend of my freshman year in college was the next time. Because one of our bros from on the hall in our hallway, he wasn't going to be coming back to school the next year. So we were giving him like a send off. So that was like, you know, I was like 18 both times. Well, then I didn't go to the strip club again for a very, very long time because let's be honest, it's really not worth it.
I still haven't been to one and I don't really have any interest to go.
Yeah, no, they're really not that great.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, porn is free.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least there is free porn, I should say.
But the only other time I've been to a strip club was actually not that long ago. Like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But it was super awkward because I was there with Ken. Ken invited me to his bachelor party.
I figured one of them was going to be a bachelor party. I figured it had to be.
Yeah. And like I had no idea what we were going to be doing, and I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll go to your bachelor party. So we like, I don't even remember everything we did. We like, I think we went to like a distillery and then like the casino, and then like Ken's stepdad Brad. He's a character. I'll put it this way: him and our old manager Tom would get along really well.
Okay, I know exactly what kind of guy he is.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, he was all about going, and so was Ken's uncle Mike, who looks like he's straight up out of The Sopranos. You remember Ken's cousin Val?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that side of the family. Got it. The hyper Italian.
His uncle Mike is Val's dad.
Gotcha. Okay, definitely then.
And I see him, and I mean, he literally looks like he just rolled out of The Sopranos. He's got like fancy jeans and a black shirt with like this giant crucifix necklace like hanging down, and like chest hair hanging out.
Nice.
Like super dark skin. His hair is like, I don't remember if it was like slicked back, but it was like, it looked very like Italian mob-esque. But those two were all about going to the strip club.
Nice.
So yeah, so that was the only other time I've been. One of
the Coney Islands in town, I feel like is a front for some kind of Italian mob business.
Okay.
Because like the one time I ate there, all of the cooks looked that way. They were bigger dudes with like button-up shirts, like with like gold chains and chest hair hanging out, like shiny watches, all like kind of balding with their hair slicked back. Like,
hell yeah.
All of them. All of them look that way.
Oh, damn. I'm going to have to check that one out. Oh.
In a few years. So,
well, I mean, if it's a front, they're probably all still running it.
Definitely.
Oh, that is great, man. Gotta love anything that looks like it could be run by the mafia.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know. Do you let's rate my friend's mom.
Okay.
We got another mom to rate. So we have previously talked. I have previously talked about her. And I told the story about how one time we were out together and we kept talking about how much of a babe she was.
Okay, I figured it was gonna be this one.
And her name is Deb, and I'm actually gonna save her dad for another time. We can do for another rate my dad. But so this is my friend Lauren and her mom Deb.
They look like twins.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, Deb's a freaking fox, man.
Damn, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got another one, but yeah, you can tell, like, yeah, they look like,
jeez, they look the same age.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and no offense to you, Lauren, it's just Deb looks that damn good.
Yeah, no, it's nothing against Lauren, not at all.
No, not at all. It's just your mom's got it going on.
Mike, you haven't been on the internet as long as me.
I mean,
you're not as immersed into the internet.
I was going to say, I mean, technically, I've definitely been on the internet longer than you. Like, because I mean, I've been on the internet since probably around the time you were born.
But you aren't as immersed in the culture of the internet.
Oh,
as
no,
me.
No, absolutely not.
And now that you're kind of, on the internet, posting a podcast, becoming a bit of an internet figure, so to speak, I figure, we got to kind of have the talk.
Oh,
so to speak.
The
internet talk. There's a lot of things that we've learned about the internet over the years. How to be, how not to be.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about a character from a time period on the internet that, like, those of us who've been really into the internet refer to as kind of the Wild West of the internet.
Okay.
This was a time when there were less rules. This is a time when people really didn't know what was going on. This is a time when, those do's and don'ts weren't really known. And I want to talk today a bit about a character who, without this person, we might not know so many of the don'ts.
Okay.
So I'll preface this by saying I do not condone the actions of the people involved in these stories.
Okay.
What we're about to talk about is kind of fucked up. I'm not going to lie to you about that.
All right.
I will also say that the character in this story is a high-functioning, autistic trans woman. And we are not making fun of this person. I am just telling their story as it happened.
Okay, fair enough.
So this person is named Chris Chan.
Like first name Chris, last name Chan?
Christian Weston Chandler, shortened to Chris Chan.
Okay.
She came out as trans a few years ago and now goes by Christine. I'm going to try to stick to she pronouns, but for most of her internet history, she was a he, so I might slip up here and there. But This person is widely thought of as the most documented person on the internet. And to give you an idea of what that looks like, there is a series of videos called Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History by this guy named Gino Samuel. It is currently 59 parts long, with each part being between 35 and 45 minutes long.
Okay.
I could do an entire 24-hour live stream watching these videos and not get through all of them.
Damn.
And mind you, this series is ongoing. We're in like 2016 of her history. Okay. So people track the everyday movements of this person. Like they have cataloged every tweet they've made, every video they've posted, every purchase they've made on eBay. People follow every action of this person. They are called Christorians. And they log.
Oh gosh. Okay.
They log the Christory.
That's really funny.
Pretty funny. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not trying to interrupt your story, but the other one like that I really like is you remember that singer Clay Aiken? Mm-hmm. I remember that his fans called themselves Claymates.
That's good. I like that.
I thought that was pretty funny. But continue.
So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the Christory today.
Okay.
Chris Chan came up into prominence around like 2005 or 6, and like things really ramped up around that time. Chris Chan was an interesting fellow. She created a character, and I'm going to use the word create in quotation marks here.
Okay.
Imagine the character Pikachu.
Yeah.
And imagine the character Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
Combine them and you get Sonichu.
Oh, okay.
So Sonichu is a creation by Chris Chan, and she wrote a bunch of comics surrounding this character. And mind you, these comics look like they were drawn by like a kindergartner.
Okay.
And like there's this whole history within the comics where like Chris Chan is like Sonichu's father figure, but there's time travel, there's superpowers. Chris Chan turns into Chris Chan Sonichu, which is like a Sonichu form of Chris Chan.
Oh, okay.
There's a female one named Rose Chu who is paired up with Sonichu, and they have kids.
Okay.
There's all kinds of lore, a lot of deep lore.
Sure.
But Chris Chan is more than just a comic artist. You know, she wants to find someone to love.
Okay.
And I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
We all want to find that special person in our life.
Hell yeah.
Or at least many of us do. I won't say all of us.
Right.
However, Chris Chan is a bit socially awkward, and I won't blame her for that because so am I. But
that's fine.
Her means of finding a mate were, shall we say, interesting.
Okay.
I'm going to show you the sign first, and then I'll read it out to you. She, around the age of, I think it was 21 or 22, started putting up posters around her community college that looked like this. That's Sonichu at the bottom, by the way. That's Sonichu in the middle there.
Okay.
And this was her attraction sign. And I'm going to read out what it says for everybody. 21 and single white male. Shy, smart, young at heart, computer skilled, humorous, a great thinker, a go-getter, natural salesperson, enjoys good parts of life, diplomatic, friendly, loves his family, peaceful, very creative. He's lonely.
Oh, okay. I'm going to stop you for just a second. So far, not horrible.
Nope. Seeking a cute 18 to 21 single female companion. 18, 20 to 21 years of age, does not already have a boyfriend, single. We're covering all the bases here.
Okay, really, really making sure they're single.
Yep, and now we're going to get into kind of her requirements for what she refers to as her sweetheart.
Okay.
Average to slender weight/body type. Lives in Charlottesville or Ruckersville area of Virginia, or West Virginia, I believe. Does not smoke or drink alcohol.
Okay.
Happy, positive personality. Average to high income. Drives a vehicle. And my personal favorite, white.
Okay, I mean, people have their preferences. All right, fair enough.
If any men read this huge sign, mind your own business.
Okay.
And to all men with girlfriends, except marrieds and blacks, go jump off a cliff. Have a nice day.
Okay. Interesting.
So Chris Chan hung these signs up at her school, at her community college.
Yeah.
Understandably, got in trouble for doing so, and eventually, as a result of continued attempts, got banned from her community college. But, you know, all this stuff going on with Chris Chan eventually got the attention of people on the internet.
Okay.
People started posting about her. People started being like, what's going on with this person? What's their deal?
Yeah.
And eventually a page was made for Chris Chan on a website called Encyclopedia Dramatica, which was at the time like a kind of like a mock version of Wikipedia where they just cover kind of joke topics.
Okay.
So they made a page about Chris Chan chronicling all this stuff that I just talked about.
Okay.
Chris Chan eventually found it and did not like it and asked them to take it down. They didn't, because that's not how the internet works.
Right.
And so Chris Chan enacted a plan to try to get them to leave her alone. She referred to it as information overload.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've heard that phrase.
What she did was she altered the pages to make them more accurate to what she believed to be the truth. So, like, for example, racism got changed to like, oh, and she's traditional. She holds traditional beliefs.
That's a bit of a stretch, but okay.
And then she decided to add a bunch of information that was not previously available in order to get them to leave her alone because there's just too much.
Oh, okay.
Which could not have possibly been which there could not have possibly been a worse way to deal with this situation, because obviously you're just tossing fuel onto a fire when it comes to something like that.
Right.
So obviously more interest grew around Chris Chan to the point that they eventually created an entire other website for her specifically called the Quickie, CWC, Christian Weston Chandler Quickie.
Okay.
Where they would follow everything that she did and like everything that happened. And eventually, trolls started to emerge.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People who wanted to fuck with her. People saw poor Chris Chan's desire to have a sweetheart in her life.
And she was male at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm just going to continue using.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure.
Right.
Okay.
So trolls started contacting Chris Chan posing as women in order to start up like a fake over the internet relationship with her. Get her to divulge horribly sensitive information.
Oh no. Oh honey.
Take nudes. Film herself having sex with sex dolls.
Oh.
All the worst things you can imagine from the internet.
Oh, like just really, really bad catfishing.
Horrible shit.
Okay.
In fact, Chris Chan had this thing she liked to wear. It was a Sonichu medallion, is what she called it.
Okay.
It was a little necklace, like a bead necklace with a Sonichu head made out of clay on the end of it. And like she would never not wear this thing.
Okay.
Never. And so certain trolls like pose as a girlfriend, got him to send them her Sonichu medallion.
Oh.
Just so they could film themselves destroying it.
Oh.
Really fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
And, as this all went on, like the worst part too is how the cycle kept repeating. Like Chris Chan, and like we can chalk this up to the fact that like they're a mentally unstable person.
Mm-hmm.
She never learned from her mistakes. She just kept doing the same shit.
Yeah.
She kept falling for the same tricks. And so like, she made a second medallion. Eventually, like she got in a troll relationship with a girl named Julie. Then, and like, mind you, this is probably the most like organized people on the internet had been at that time. We're talking 2006 or 7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like a long time ago. This is like a group of trolls that all work together. One of them poses like the leader of the troll. He calls himself Clyde Cash.
Okay.
Then they tricked Chris into thinking that Julie had been kidnapped by Clyde Cash. And then Julie's brother hacked into his PlayStation Network account and tried to ransom it back to him by getting him to film himself cutting up his Sonichu medallion and shoving it up his ass.
Okay.
Only to find out that Julie was, in fact, a 13-year-old boy posing as a woman the entire time.
Oh.
And he did all this stuff for her.
Oh. Okay.
Now, I'll say Chris Chan is not a particularly good person, especially like back in the day. Like nowadays, she's not as bad, but back in the day, she was like very openly homophobic, pretty racist, like regardless of like having autism, she as a person was not a great person.
Oh, gosh, I completely forgot about the autism.
It's even worse when you think about that. It's
okay.
even worse when you think about that. Like these people were targeting someone who just didn't know better.
Yeah.
It's really fucked.
Oh.
But like, you can chalk up a lot of like the person that she was to her upbringing. She was raised by parents who both had estranged children. So, not exactly like flagship good parents.
Yeah.
And horrible hoarders.
Oh,
Chris Chan grew up in a home that was just like shit everywhere.
okay.
So, she didn't grow up in a great environment and wasn't exactly, taught to be, this good person. She was just kind of not a great person. But I don't even like, regardless of that, like she definitely didn't deserve the kind of treatment that she got.
No, not at all. Nobody does.
But, it all just kept going. And eventually there became antagonists, Clyde Cash was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But like my personal favorite antagonist was Liquid Chris.
Okay.
This guy started making YouTube videos where he kind of just did an not impression. What's the word I'm looking for?
Impression?
Impression. That's it.
Okay.
Did impressions of Chris, mirrored her videos that she'd made up to that point, mirrored the way that she spoke, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually started impersonating Chris, like calling out the actual Chris Chan and being like, this person's pretending to be me. They're acting like all their work is mine. They're stealing my Sonichu character. They're stealing all of my original works. And so this created a whole feud between, and they called him Liquid Chris based on the Metal Gear games. You don't really know those, but there's Solid Snake and there's Liquid Snake. They're like twins, or not twins. They're like clones. I don't know the lore, but
all right.
So they called him Liquid Chris. And, again, this is another example of like this extremely organized like troll attack.
Yeah.
Where like there were people on both sides, like people on the internet acting like Liquid Chris was the real Chris and like fueling the fire of Chris Chan believing it himself. Of being like, people actually think that this is me when it isn't.
Oh.
And so like this whole feud started up where like Chris Chan was constantly attacking Liquid Chris, trying to get people to believe that he was the real Chris, which just led to him divulging more information, his address, his phone number.
Come on.
He showed the camera his driver's license. All of this shit.
Oh, honey, no.
And so eventually Liquid Chris faded out, stopped being the antagonist, and then like people started asking Chris, like, hey, what are your thoughts on Asperger's? Chris did not like Asperger's.
Okay.
For some reason, and like this is like an exact quote. Her problem with Asperger's is that it was trying to steal the limelight from autism. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but that eventually fueled this guy. Alec Benson Leary was his troll name, to create a version of Sonichu called Asperchu.
Oh God, that just makes me think of like children's chewable aspirin.
Yeah, I can see it. That'd be a great name. But so this guy started creating his own comics called Asperchu, and made his own like version of the quickie called the Asperpedia, and like.
Oh my gosh.
They put so much work into their attempts to fuck with Chris Chan.
Oh.
It's so messed up. But like, so this became a whole feud in itself, where like Chris Chan was like, you're stealing my characters. This is my copyrighted work. And then, Alec Benson Leary comes back with like, if Asperchu is stealing from Sonichu, then how is Sonichu not stealing from Sonic and Pikachu?
I mean,
which is a really valid point.
Yeah. Not making any of this right, but that is a valid point.
And like, I've watched like the Chris Chan comprehensive history shit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's recorded phone calls between like all these people, recorded phone calls between Liquid Chris and Chris Chan, recorded phone calls between Alec Benson Leary and Chris Chan. And the worst part too is like Alec Benson Leary's like, despite the things that he did, he tried to help Chris Chan in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
He pointed out a lot of this stuff, like a lot of the behavior that Chris was going on about it, how it didn't help and just fueled the fire, and like brought all this stuff to his attention where it's like, you're stealing from Nintendo, but when people try to do the same thing to you, you get all mad. Why are you special? Why are you in this little bubble where you're allowed to do these things and other people aren't?
Yeah.
But none of it ever worked. None of it ever got through to Chris Chan.
Right.
And like just there was just if you can't tell already, it's just this endless sea of shit.
Yeah.
of like people doing horrible things, Chris Chan doing bad things back, too much information being out there.
TMI.
Chris Chan responded to every provocation imaginable.
Of course.
And never let any of it go. And you don't do that on the internet.
No.
When it comes to my videos, if people leave a comment criticizing my video in any way, reasonable or otherwise, I don't respond to it. Because they'll argue back and they'll keep arguing back and it will never end. You just don't do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like you'd make the smallest, slightest mention of Chris Chan in any kind of negative light and she would make a video combating it. It never ended. It never it was just this endlessly repeating cycle where these people saw like, we can basically write this person's life because like no matter what we do, we can keep getting them to do this shit and like it's entertaining for them because they're terrible people.
Oh.
And so just it kept happening. Stuff like this kept happening. And there was Surf Shack Tito who stole his girlfriend from him and his PlayStation account. They tricked him into destroying his PlayStation 3 by convincing him to give him $9,000 if he did. They didn't do that.
Well, why? No, of course they didn't.
They ordered prostitutes to his house to help him lose his virginity because he's still looking for his sweetheart.
Sure.
And but he didn't want a prostitute. He wanted his one true sweetheart. But that's not the point.
Right.
And eventually people started to lose interest, but Chris Chan does not sleep for long.
Okay.
There will always be people watching her and she will always do something that brings herself back into the limelight.
Right.
Ad nauseum. It will never end as far as I can tell.
Oh.
So eventually, her hoarder house caught fire, obviously. Survived, but her house was pretty severely destroyed and she had to move into a rental house and she started like begging for donations online. And she even she opened a store where she started selling like Sonichu merchandise. And because people have been trolling this person for years, like she's like a legendary figure on the internet. We're talking like 2010, 2011. She's been around for a while.
Yeah.
So people are buying her merchandise. So that's, it's a viable means of income.
Yeah.
But eventually, time passes and a new Sonic game comes out.
Okay.
Sonic Boom. You don't know about Sonic Boom.
I don't.
But anybody who plays video games is going to know Sonic Boom is widely known as one of the worst Sonic games. And one of the things that they did when they made Sonic Boom was they redesigned all the characters.
Okay.
One thing they did that did not sit right with Chris Chan was they took Sonic's arm color and they changed it from a tan color to a blue color.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris Chan didn't like that one bit. Started Facebook groups, started sending letters to Nintendo, started threatening, or not Nintendo, Sega, started threatening to send glitter bombs to Sega. She would go to GameStops and Walmarts with like a Sharpie and like recolor Sonic or mess with displays or put signs up like combating it. So she got banned from a lot of places. And eventually at a GameStop in Ruckersville, Virginia, the GameStop employees were kicking her out and they were calling security. And Chris Chan pepper sprayed one of them. Oh, no. Yeah, so anyone who doesn't know, you can't just spray people with pepper spray.
Yeah, no, you need
a pretty valid reason to do that.
Yeah.
Pretty valid reason.
Yeah.
So Chris Chan was arrested and tried and needed to pay a bunch of fines. So the money issues just continued. Her father had passed away a while back.
Okay.
Her mother was very sick. The bills keep mounting. More donation begging happens.
Okay.
The cycle continues, and this is around the time that people started kind of tracking Chris Chan's eBay account. And one thing they caught on to was the fact that whenever she got big donations, pretty sizable chunk of it would go towards like toys or video games instead of the bills that she was worried about.
Yeah. That's not cool.
That's not great. That's not cool.
No.
And like her excuses were exactly what you'd expect too. It was like someone pointed out like, oh, you bought all these Transformers toys. What are you doing? You have bills to pay. And she was like, well, one of my credit cards suddenly had its limit raised. So I put half of it into bills and half of it into toys. And it's like, what are you doing? You just maxed out a credit card. You added debt.
Right. As you're begging for money.
Right. And so for the past few years, Christian's been for the most part pretty quiet, but like, eventually she comes out as a trans woman.
Okay.
Which is great. Like the thing is, like, listening through the Christian comprehensive history, the way she talks in general, it's no shocker that she like came out as trans. Like, she hates men. She hates that she is a man. All of this shit. Like, it's not shocking that she came out as a trans woman, but the way she handled it maybe could have been better.
Right on.
Christian, in order to like synchronize better with her woman's heart, got a taint piercing.
I was not aware that was a thing.
Nor was I. But didn't take care of it the best. It got infected.
Okay.
That's not an area you want infected. Christian didn't see it that way. She saw it as her vagina forming, because she'd been on female hormones, and I guess a vagina is just going to grow out of you when you do that.
That's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
No.
That's not how that works at all.
No.
So eventually people managed to convince her to go to a doctor. And it was like, yeah, that's fucking infected. That's not a vagina.
No.
So that got cleared up. And like at this point in the story, like people are being pretty supportive of Christian. Like their trolling has subsided a pretty great deal. Not gone away completely, but subsided. They donate to her frequently. They buy stuff from her shop. When her house burned down, they sent her like care packages with like toiletries, gift cards, all this stuff. Like people banded together to help her out, whatever. Mm-hmm. So, for the most part, people are either leaving Christian alone or helping her out in some way at this point.
Okay.
Christian was in the news rather recently.
Okay.
Again. And mind you, like I don't know how things led to this, but I suppose like desperate people will find a way. Christian was recently arrested for incestuous rape of her dementia-riddled mother.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
So the jury's still out right now. This is all recent news. These are things that have happened recently.
Yeah.
But I think the Christian saga is coming to a close because this isn't really something that you bounce back from too super well.
No, that is probably for the best.
I firmly believe Christian should be in a mental institution so she can get help for all of her, mental illness issues. Get help working with her autism to have a better, healthier relationship than she does.
Yeah.
Because this poor person has just been tortured, berated, led on by people on the internet to the point that they have created their own kind of reality. That's something I forgot to mention. Eventually, I don't know if this is her own creation or people convinced her into this, but she at some point started to believe in what she referred to as a dimensional merge. Christian obviously is very childish and specifically really likes cartoon shows.
Okay.
My Little Pony, what's it called?
Care Bears?
I don't know if she ever talked about Care Bears. She's very into like Family Guy, American Dad, whatever.
Okay.
The Sonic series, the Sonic cartoons. And at some point she started to believe that the cartoon world was its own separate reality where the characters exist and have their own thoughts and feelings. And that at some point the dimensions are going to merge and the cartoon world will join with the real world, a la Roger Rabbit.
Like Toontown.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, she now at this point believes that like she is Sonichu, like they're one and the same. And when the dimensional merge happens, like she's going to find her sweetheart in Rose Chew. It's like this person very clearly needs help.
Yeah.
And has not gotten it. And the internet has not helped.
Oh.
So that is that is a cautionary tale for everybody on the internet, and something I thought that, you as someone who's on the internet as a voice on a podcast now should know.
Yeah.
Don't be like Chris Chan.
No.
Do not enact an information overload.
No.
Do not react to every provocation imaginable.
No.
It will only go badly. It cannot go well.
Ugh.
So yeah, that's a very like sad tale from the internet of someone who already had a pretty downtrodden life, just getting fucked in every imaginable direction by people who really, like, I think back, like you listen to, like, in 2006, 2007, like her having these phone calls with these people, and I think back to like that 13-year-old kid who poses a woman and like really got a lot of fucked up shit out of him. Like, what's that kid doing these days?
Yeah.
How does he feel about that? I hope he feels terrible.
Yeah.
Because
I would hope so.
I can't imagine feeling good about doing that kind of thing to a person like that.
Yeah, I mean, 13-year-olds are little fuckers.
Right. Like, and at that age, you don't really know better, but really someone should have stepped in and been like, that's not okay.
Yeah, I mean, kids at that age are like literally the worst because like they don't like realize the impact of what they're doing, but yet they're old enough to where they're smart enough to like
really fuck with you.
Yeah. That's kind of the worst.
Yeah. And then I also think about like the adults who are involved in those, like the people who are clearly old enough to know better and still did this kind of thing. Like, what are those people? How do they feel knowing they did this to this person?
Oh,
I hope they feel awful.
I hope so too. That's a really shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I just wanted to share that with you.
Damn. Well,
it's kind of a bummer, but it's important for people on the internet to know. Don't be like Chris Chan.
Oh,
don't share too much information. Don't fuck your mom. Thanks. That's my TED Talk.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Wow. What's the segue for that?
I was about to say the same thing.
Okay. I got a couple things. A couple things to circle back on other things we've talked about. So remember I told you that this was, I don't know, maybe month and a half ago. I told the story about the dude that pulled the eyelash out of my face.
Yeah.
So the update on that, I went back into that same account last week and I'm like, oh gosh. I was like, what the hell's gonna happen to me? And not gonna lie, kind of felt a little hurt. He was like, what company are you with?
You had a special connection and he forgot?
Yeah, we kind of shared an intimate moment together.
What the fuck?
And I mean, maybe he remembers who I am, but he didn't remember me enough. Like, at best, I was just that guy who had the eyelash that he plucked. But
damn, bro.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was kind of shitty.
You should like... I don't remember what movie this is from. You should do that thing where you get like all dolled up, get some mascara, like really get your eyelashes all long.
Yeah.
Wear some really fancy clothes.
Yeah.
And then walk in there and be like, what now? Do you remember me now?
Oh God. Are you talking about, I think you're talking about, there's like a scene in Pretty Woman.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, when she's still dressed like a prostitute, she goes to Rodeo Drive, trying to buy like a nice dress to go to like a fancy dinner, and like the snobby women at the dress shop won't help her. So then she goes shopping like the next day at like different stores, and she gets all fancied up and goes back to that store, and they're like, oh, what can we help you with? And she's like, oh, you don't remember me? I was in here yesterday. You wouldn't help me. Like, oh, she's like, big mistake. Huge.
Yes.
And holds up like all of these bags of shit that she bought.
Yeah. So you should throw that at him.
I really should.
And close the account just to fuck with him.
Oh,
probably shouldn't do that one. But
yeah, no, I can't do that.
It would be funny. Piss him off so much that he closes the account. I don't know.
Yeah. And another story, I actually thought about this one this morning. So we've had several fire alarm stories.
A lot more than one would expect.
Yeah, well, I got another one, and this actually might be the best fire alarm story, and I can't believe that I forgot about this. My dad actually went to the same college that I did. And I remember him telling me a story about how when he lived in the dorms that he was taking a shower and they had a fire drill like while he was in the shower. And I don't exactly remember the outcome, but he was like, I just turned off the shower and just stayed in there and pretended like I wasn't there.
I mean, he's got water around him. If there was a fire, he'd be fine.
Right. He'd be fine. Yeah. Like the whole building would burn down except just
that one bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He had the right idea. So, I mean, fast forward like 30 years later, I'm going to the same college, living in the dorm room. Against all odds, I'm taking a shower and we have a fire drill.
Damn.
Like
that's some like quantum entanglement shit. Like the same thing happened in different time periods to people linked by genes.
Yeah. And
not just your inherited Wranglers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He handed those down to me too.
Why wouldn't he?
Right. So, you know, this story at the time was pretty fresh in my mind. So I'm thinking, I wonder if I can just hang out in the shower. And I'm like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a good idea. So I rinse off as much as I can. But I'm like, maybe I can just hang out in the bathroom. And the RA is coming down the hallway and he's like checking every room to make sure we all evacuated. And, you know, I've just got like a towel wrapped around me. And he's like, he comes in and he's like, man, you got to go. It's a fire drill. And I was like, bruh, look at me. I
ain't got no clothes.
Yeah, it's like all wet. It's like probably like late October, early November. So it's not warm outside. And, you know, just wet with the towel. And he's like, no, brah, you got to go. I'm like, dude, clearly it's a drill. There is no fire. You can give me a pass on this.
Give me a pass on this one time, bro.
Yeah, like any other time I'd be outside. And he's like, nah, get moving. You got to go. So I had to I just threw on a pair of shoes and sure as shit, I had to wait like 5 minutes outside wet with just a towel wrapped around me.
Damn.
Yeah. But it's amazing how many fire alarm stories we've had collectively.
I do not miss fire drills.
No.
Oh my God, it was a nightmare at my old high school because, you know, my old high school was humongous.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was half a mile across and 3 stories. You know, gigantic school.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge school.
And we had a ton of students. My graduating class was like 480 students.
Yeah. I think mine was like 275. So yeah, you were like double.
Yeah. We're talking like almost 2,000 students plus like faculty.
Yeah.
So for a fire drill at our school, we had this whole elaborate thing that no one, the worst part too is like they clearly had a plan of like how to handle it, but no one really knew how it worked.
Okay.
So like, you know, I swear like throughout the years that we did fire drills, like this thing fucking changed multiple times, but like, you know, you do the classic, like everybody file out in orderly fashion. And then like, you'd group up by the class that you were in like a specific location, and no one really knew what that specific location was. So as soon as you got outside, you just kind of look for your teacher.
Okay.
And then the teachers had like these cards there was like a red card, like a yellow card, and like a green card. They'd hold up the yellow card as their class waited to like everybody gets there, and then they like do a head count. If they're missing anybody, they put up a red card. If they're all good, they put up a green card.
Okay.
But like it was such a nightmare because just like you'd get out there and no one knew where to go. No one knew what they were supposed to do. Some teachers would have you line up by like alphabetical order, some wouldn't. So you just fucking it was a nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah, and like with the school being so huge and with there being so many students, you'd be standing outside for like half an hour as they all like got everybody together.
I mean, I guess that was a good way to kill a half hour of your school day, but
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I feel like most of the time it happened during classes that I liked. Like it would happen during one of my video hours, or it would happen during one of my art classes or something. It wouldn't happen during like physics.
Yeah.
It would never happen during my anatomy class that I fucking hated.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I should tell you about this anatomy class I took. So I want to say I was a sophomore. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was a sophomore. And there was this one semester where all of my friend group, like there was 3 different lunch hours, and the lunch hour you got was dependent on the class you were taking during that hour.
Mm-hmm.
So like literally all of my friend group got the same lunch hour except for me.
Oh man.
So I had nobody to sit with, and so I like the class I was taking was like an elective course, and so I switched classes so I could get into the lunch hour that I wanted.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking this anatomy class. It was the fucking worst. Like I would have rather sat alone for the entire semester than taking this class. Our teacher like hated me for reasons I couldn't understand. She would do this thing. She would like put on videos of like they were like surgery videos. And so many kids would go to sleep during these. So many kids would just like lie their head down and take a nap in the middle of these videos. I would also do that. And she would only ever wake me up.
Oh, come on.
Like legitimately, like she'd wake me up, yell at me for sleeping, and I'd look and a kid 2 down was asleep and she wouldn't fucking bother him.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why she hated me so much. And then she did this awesome thing. Remember, this is an elective course. This isn't a required class. This isn't like for my diploma, nothing. She would give out these homework packets once a week. And you'd have until the end of the week to complete it. They were like 12 pages long with like in-depth questions on every page. They took forever to do every week. And to top it all off, we had to do like the fucking classic what do you call it? It's not a circumcision, it's
dissection.
That's it, dissection. Thank you.
God, no, that would be that's an interesting class.
That's an interesting high school class.
Huh.
We'd have to do these dissections. They give us like the like hearts and minks and all this horrible stuff, and I didn't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
So that class sucked. Massive cock. Too much homework. The teacher hated me. I hated the dissections. Also, I could sit with my friends at lunch. It wasn't worth it.
Oh, damn. That sucks, bro.
And I don't feel like I learned anything. I don't remember the anatomy of a human being.
Right.
I mean, I know pee's stored in the balls, obviously, but
right. That's why you have to drain them.
Right.
Oh, man. Before I forget, Little League World Series is going on right now.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's going all right. I feel like I got to give a shout out to the kids from Taylor, Michigan, because they're still in it. They're like, it's like quarterfinals or semifinals or something like that. They're out of like all the Little League teams in all the cities in the country. They're like one of like the final like 8 or 10 or something like that.
Damn, nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty sweet.
Those kids got to be getting beat hard.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Got to train them right.
Right.
I think it's really funny that it's being called the World Series, despite the fact that you said it was only the United States this time around.
I mean,
I know they can't just exactly change all the branding, but it's just funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it, like Major League Baseball they've always had, that's always been called the World Series. And outside of the Toronto Blue Jays and what used to be, there used to be the Montreal Expos. Other than that, all the teams are in the US.
My favorite is the Miss Universe competition. Like, damn, bro, we're one planet and we do not know if we're alone. We're really gonna be out here like, hey, all you other potential planets and Sperry's, fuck all y'all. We're Miss Universe. This is the most beautiful woman in the expansive trillion light year universe. Fuck you.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you, but since you brought up how fucked up that is, isn't that like owned by Donald Trump?
Is it? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
that sounds like such a thing Trump would own.
I'm pretty sure he like started that or like bought it or something like long before he was president. But yeah, okay, here we go. I guess it began in 1955. Donald Trump bought the pageant in 1996.
That's hilarious. I had no idea.
Yeah. I don't looks like maybe he made some sort of controversial statements. I'm not going to get into all of it, but yeah.
When hasn't he made controversial statements?
Right, exactly. But no, that's just too perfect.
God, have you seen the video of the time that Steve Harvey hosted the Miss Universe contest?
I didn't, but while I was like briefly looking at that Wikipedia article, I saw Steve Harvey's name in there.
So this video hurts to watch, physically hurts to watch.
Okay.
Steve Harvey hosted the competition a few years back, and in the final, when he was announcing who was Miss Universe, he said the wrong country.
Oh,
he said the wrong. It was something like he said Miss Colombia was Miss Universe, and it was actually Miss Philippines. Then he had to like walk back on a stage while everybody's celebrating and be like, actually. And like, it's so hard to watch because like Miss Colombia starts crying. Miss Philippines is like not even happy. Like you can tell she's just looking at Miss Colombia and just feels terrible.
Yeah.
It's so fucking awkward. But I mean, hey, Steve Harvey's a massive piece of shit. So it's just another tick in the book.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Fucking Steve Harvey.
It sucks because he's like, the host of like a pretty family friendly and pretty funny show. And he's a decently entertaining guy, but it's like, guy's a massive misogynist. He's cheated on a bunch of women, like all this stuff about him.
Yeah.
Like, will not accept other religions or atheism, is like hyper Catholic. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah. I'm not a big Steve Harvey fan in general.
No. I mean, I can't say I've exactly consumed his content, but it's just one of those things where it's like, this guy's really beloved for the piece of shit that he is.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much know him from like Family Feud, but
I think that's all he really does. But like, he does it. I know he like wrote a book about like why women cheat, and it was basically like because men let them.
Oh God. Oh, no wonder he was involved with like the Trump owned Miss Universe.
Right? Yes, absolutely.
God, perfect.
Absolutely.
Oh.
All right, everybody. Well, Mike's gonna end the podcast because he started it too.
All right. Good luck to those kids from Taylor.
Hopefully none of them die.
Go get them.
Don't die.